In there in a meeting.
Problem, undercurrent problem, buying votes, threatening people, or using money to try to persuade people to vote for it.
Well, I don't know specifically if it is a tactic. I'm sure that they're interested in getting it, they use the resources. Tell
something that might not be exactly above board. In other words, a little muscle work, using some of this money to do something that might not be.
Sheriff Edmondson, yesterday the governor alluded to blood money being used here in Macon County to try to influence the referendum tomorrow toward the yes vote for the legalization of dog racing. As sheriff, do you have any evidence, or what evidence do you have to indicate that this may or may not be true?
Well, I don't know of any evidence of any money being used illegally in order to influence people to vote, but I do know that there are interested groups who have been spending money quite a bit in terms of advertising on the radio and in newspapers, and as well as various posters around on posts. But I don't know of any situation specifically where any money has been used to intimidate anybody or anything like that. At least I haven't heard of it.
As far as the election tomorrow, are you taking any special precautions to make sure that the voting machines keep their integrity, the poll workers and so forth and so on, since the nature of the referendum?
Well, certainly, I mean, that is my job. I mean, to see that everything goes right, and I intend to do it. And as a matter of fact, we're making preparations now to get these various machines into the proper places, and we hope to be set up and ready to go at 8 o'clock when the polls are supposed to be open.
After the election, and if the referendum is approved, what plans do you have as a sheriff to make sure that the Racing Commission and the operation of a racing track here in Macon County will remain legal and above board, and without all these heinous side effects that people are saying will come to Macon County?
Well, I guess people have a right to say what they want to say. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, if the vote is affirmative and the Racing Commission is in fact established, then of course we'll just have to analyze the situation as time moves on and do whatever is necessary to make sure that that we maintain the kind of law and order here that is required.
Do you anticipate asking the Department of Public Safety for any assistance in perhaps investigating and making sure that the undesirable elements do stay out of Macon County?
Well, certainly we intend to work with all law enforcement agencies along this line, and of course you know that we've always worked with the Department of Public Safety on matters of mutual interest, and I'm sure that the Attorney General's office as well as the Department of Public Safety will be interested in any illegalities that might exist, and we intend to work 100% with all of these agencies to make sure that that it is a fair operation.
Hold still just a second. I want to get your brass all polished up and ready to go.
Yeah, I keep it polished up every day. Yep.
You know Sheriff Clark, he tickles me running around and he wears his hat and his weather will not necessarily pave the way for dog racing here. Not necessarily pave the way for dog racing. The idea. Stand up outro, take one. Stand up, take one. Approval of Tuesday's referendum by the voters in Macon County will not necessarily pave the way for dog racing here. The idea of dog racing will have another test to stand in a court of law. Dennis Latham, WSFA TV News, Tuskegee. Take two. Approval of Tuesday's referendum by the voters of Macon County will not necessarily pave the way for dog racing here. The governor has promised that he'll take three. The approval of Tuesday's referendum by the voters in Macon County will not necessarily pave the way for dog racing here. Governor James says if it's approved, he'll make it a take four. Stand up outro. The approval of Tuesday's referendum by Macon County voters will not necessarily pave the way for dog racing here. Governor James says if the vote is yes, then the idea of dog racing will have to face another test, this time in a court of law. Dennis Latham, WSFA TV News, Tuskegee, Alabama.
is soundly defeated, and then I hope the Attorney General opinion will be validated and it will be proven unconstitutional, and we'll be whipped it twice.
Question. I asked Mike.
Rev, I hadn't really thought about that. I don't want to second guess my legal counsel. My initial inclination would be to shoot both barrels quick and get on with it, but maybe legal counsel is right, so I'd want to discuss it with him a little further. At that time, and as I said, I'm caught in this inconsistency between my strong belief in home rule. The House has changed their rules now where it's not home rule on dog racing, and in as much as statewide business. So when the House changed their rules, I think in my own conscience, that's just one thing that you might say is a little bit inconsistent in my belief in home rule, and I'm just going to veto that, and that's it, and you can expect it, and there's no questions about it from here on out.
Governor, you mentioned the Attorney General's opinion declaring it unconstitutional, but 10 days before he issued that opinion, he issued another opinion. The retirement system is basically saying that it should be left up to the courts to determine the constitutionality of statute.
Well, I think the courts will determine it in this case.
But don't you think it's a little inconsistent with the Attorney General?
Well, I think the Attorney General's opinion is to express his concept of law, and of course the final analysis the conclusion rests with the courts. But Attorney General, when he gives his opinions on matters that are both statutory and constitutional, if his research leads him to believe something is unconstitutional,